The Pirate Code. Turns out it's less of a guide and more like the law. Break it upon pain of death. Whilst writing my book, The Jenny's Revenge, a tale about a crew of women who are hunting down the pirates that destroyed their lives, which is available on Amazon, in order to make it as authentic as possible, I looked into the Pirate Code and whether or not it was real. Well, it was, but it was better known as the ship's articles. Now, every member of the crew had to agree to the articles and then make their mark upon them, and this is because, although pirates were bastards, they realised that if a ship was to operate properly, it had to have rules. Now, most of these rules, or articles, are exactly what you'd expect to find upon a pirate ship. For example, how many shares of a hull each member of the crew would get, what kind of compensation you might receive if you're injured during a fight, always keep your weapons at the ready, and obviously punishments from there. But there were more than a few you might not expect to see, such as all lights and candles are to be extinguished below decks by the hour of 8, as it would seem that pirates rather enjoyed their beauty sleep. There was to be no gambling either, as many ships had no person is to partake in cards or dice for money written into their articles, which could explain why many of them gambled so heavily when they got ashore. Another thing the code strictly forbid was fighting with each other whilst at sea. All quarrels are to be settled ashore with sword or pistol. This kind of makes sense, as ships couldn't really afford to lose members of the crew whilst under sail, but if you're alongside, you could easily recruit somebody else. So, who set these rules? Well, that varied from ship to ship, really. For some, it was just one person, probably the captain. On others, it was a committee of trustees, whilst on some ships, it was the entire crew. But how do we know that any of this is real? Well, there were examples written in Charles Johnson's book, A Brief History of Pirates, written in 1724, from pirates such as Bartholomew Roberts and Robert Lowe. Now, these were only partial, as many ships had a habit of destroying their articles when they came under fire from the authorities. This was because they didn't want them to be taken and used against them as evidence of their piratical ways. Nevertheless, some 9 copies did survive and were taken, partial and complete, to the Admiralty Court's records as proof of the Pirate Code. So, what would happen to me if I did break the ship's articles? Well, this was seen as the worst thing I could possibly do, as essentially I would be breaking my pledge to both ship and crew, and as such, the punishment would be the harshest possible. They could just throw me over the side of the ship, or I might be marooned, which was a favourite of pirates, where they would leave you on a deserted island. But many crews didn't like there being any chance of survival, and so the sentence would be death. There you have it. Pirates. They were bastards, but even they had a sense of ethics. Savvy?